Want to see liberal logic in real time?
I am leaving this country, the United States, in 213 days. And I am spending day after day researching schools, where to live, how to afford this, visas, taxes, everything.
So you understand that there is a process to go into another country then, right?
With what they're doing to immigrants, with what we are doing to other countries.
Okay, so it's okay for other countries to do it and you're going to go to them, but when we do it, it's wrong?
I can't be here anymore. I can't breathe here.
So you're okay with doing all the steps necessary to move to another country because it's okay for them to do it, but you're fleeing from this country because we're enforcing those same laws that we've always had?
I also empathize with the countries that are being inundated with immigrants. I am sorry.
So you're sorry because you understand that it causes issues, but you don't mind putting that on another country because you're angry that this country is trying to fix that problem?
I'm not trying to ask anyone to assimilate to me. Okay, I am moving and I expect to fully have to assimilate into that culture as much as I possibly can.
So you understand that you should assimilate when you move to another country, but you're angry that people are coming here and not assimilating, and we're trying to fix that.
For 1 second, understand why people are leaving.
Totally fine with you leaving, but it's a little hard to understand where the disconnect comes in, that it's okay for all the other countries to have these laws, but the fact that we are enforcing these laws finally after not under the last administration, it's a problem.
We're literally escaping fascism.
Oh, okay. You're brainwashed. I get
Brainwash. Folks, the left is melting down again, and this time the voters aren't buying it. After two deadly confrontations involving federal agents in Minnesota, Democrats rushed to blame President Trump. Also, they blamed ICE and law enforcement. But here's the problem. The American people are starting to see through it. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all as you watch this broadcast. It's time for Pop and Politics. I'm KJ. Let me introduce you to my co-hosts. Of course, we have Nicole Bennett.
Hey, y'all.
And Shelly E.
Hi.
All right, we have a lot to talk about tonight, folks. This has not been a good day for Democrats in office, okay? Not at all. And we're going to bring it all to you. All right, so before we light this fire, do your part. Tap that thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and turn on your notifications. We are live here on YouTube and Rumble. If you're on the go, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. We love our chat. We shout out every super chat. So drop your thoughts, show your love, and join the conversation that the mainstream media wishes didn't exist. This is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. Stand with us and subscribe so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, ladies, let's set it off. So before we get into everything that's going down, what did you think of that video? I thought that may be the most contradictory video that I've seen by a leftist in a long time. Shelly, what were your thoughts?
I thought it was funny. I thought it was very cleverly done. I mean, look, leftists are largely running on emotion. Again, many of them, maybe most, they believe that the United States should not be as it is. So they are seeking out this utopia wherever they go. Surprise, surprise. Many other countries in the world, particularly in not even just the Western world, but in the world, have very stringent immigration standards. So I would tell her, go ahead, find out.
Yeah, Nicole, I mean, she was literally contradicting herself the entire time.
Well, they don't listen to themselves when they speak. Mm-hmm. This is the precursor to word salad. She's just saying things that she's heard. She's little talking point here, little talking point there. And it's not dawning on her, because she's not listening, that everything that she's doing to prepare to go to this new nation is everything that we ask people to prepare when they come to our nation. But she's going to find out the hard way. I hope she tries to sneak into somewhere. Try Poland.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they think, I don't know if it's a situation where these people have not traveled outside of the US. I don't know, but they believe that we are doing something here that other countries don't do, and it's just not correct. Actually, we're a lot more lenient than other countries when it comes to our sovereignty. And it's so crazy because we're the country that everyone wants to come see. So, I mean, but people are starting to wake up to the fact that the agenda of President Trump is not authoritarian. He's trying to keep the peace. He's trying to, get this country back to a state of law and order. And it's actually the other way around. So, folks, this next video, this clip is just insane. So this is a clip of Antifa. They are in LA. LA, of course, I don't know if it's still occurring, but I know it was occurring a couple days ago, was in total chaos. Antifa and protesters were rioting against an immigration enforcement facility opening. And this is Antifa actually assaulting and attacking a female reporter. This is clip 2.
Good, man. Come on. Relax. Let her go. Even though she's on the side. What are you on? Hey, just go. Just get out of here. Hey, guys, don't let her go. Come on, bro. Pueden entrada.
Devil's advocate here. I think I'm a Republican now. You liberals have literally pushed away any good person that was in your party. If you guys haven't seen that video that I just saw of those grown-ass men, those men beating down on that female journalist, they literally kicked her to the ground. Don't worry, by the time they see a judge, they'll identify as a woman so they can fucking get out of being in prison with other men, actual men that's gonna whoop their little bitch asses. I walked away from the Democratic cult years ago when I realized, like, holy shit, dude, y'all will just believe anything. And I went independent. But I think at this point, I think I've chosen a side. If any of you support that video, you're disgusting. If I knew how to stitch it, I would. I just don't know how yet. But at this point, y'all are done.
Wow. Nicole, do you think we're going to start seeing more independents switch over to the Republican Party because of the chaos we've seen?
I think so. And I think as leftists and especially racialized activists become more and more violent, you will see people who took a step to the middle take a step to the right. It's one thing to have a political disagreement, and we can be as robust in that argument as you feel like you need to be. Words don't necessarily physically cause any harm. But when you see independent reporters, I mean, she doesn't have on anything that says Fox. She does not look foxy by any stretch of the imagination. She doesn't look Newsmaxy. She looks like, she's there taking pictures and kind of covering the story. To be accosted by people she probably feels some allegiance to on the street, called names, ran down the street, that's going to change her frame of reference. And people who see it, especially other women, are thinking, man, maybe I should not be in downtown LA by myself if this is what's happening. There was a similar situation that happened, I think, was somewhere in Florida, where people were harassing a girl because she wanted to take a picture with an ICE agent. So they're getting more and more out of control. And the wilder they get, the more people are going to run from that party.
Yeah. Shelley, I mean, do you think that videos like this are an accurate depiction of what is happening on the radical left?
You mean as far as the journalists being beaten?
Right, this violence in general.
Oh, I would say generally, particularly yes, particularly in the areas where there are, I guess, ICE events going on, looking for illegals, things like that. Yes, I say so. Not only that, of course, we've seen it when there are some really, I'm going to call them sensational events in the country, wherever they may be. Seattle, we certainly talking about Minneapolis, LA. We definitely see an upsurge in this leftist Antifa, whatever, BLM kind of thuggery, if you will. We definitely see that there. So that doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, it doesn't surprise me in the sense that it happens. It should not happen, of course. I'm concerned, like, where was this woman's security? I'm not blaming her for her injuries or her assault, but where was her security? I don't understand that. I don't know. That surprised me totally.
Well, I mean, I don't know if she was with an actual outlet, a mainstream media outlet, but I think it's something like one of us. We've gone to protests and took video or videography here in Baltimore, in DC. We went and up and saw the J6ers. I mean, it wasn't like a rally or anything, but we could have been confronted by agitators there. But again, I mean, people, if they think you're not with them, and I saw a couple videos because I was confused on this too. I saw that video from different angles. Now, there were some who took the video that were actually with the Antifa people, because if you look, everybody had cameras.
Yeah, they do.
And the ones that were with Antifa stopped recording when he was kicking her and stuff. So they know when to record and when not to record.
They do do that.
This is getting scary.
They do that. Andy, I think I saw on his Twitter, I think he may have reported that or talked about that, but he is a journalist that has been attacked at least a few times, maybe 3 or more that I'm aware of, that he reports about. In one time he was severely attacked and, required hospitalization. So again, these are the same people who will go around yelling, freedom or fascism, and we have to be, but they don't uphold the same law, the same standards that are necessary to protect the freedoms of the people that they're attacking. They don't do that at all. They are the fascists themselves. In those moments, they definitely are the authoritarians, the tyrants, the totalitarians, if you will. They are the ones who are doing all of the chaos. They are, quote unquote, doing the work of chaos and tearing down the country, certainly the people, the order that's necessary to keep the freedoms in place. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm still going to say, where was her security? I saw the police at the end. I don't know
where she was trying to get to. Yes, she was trying to get to them.
Yeah, but the police don't even come and break it up now anymore.
No,
especially not in Los Angeles. The police are able to stand down. And this is what I mean by dangerous situations at these so-called peaceful protests, because there was nothing peaceful about that protest. Maybe they'll ask her now, how was your peaceful protest? Because that's not what Antifa does. That's not who they are. That's not what their design is. They are there not to just agitate, but disrupt. And even if that means violence, because these people are bailed out before the paperwork is finished, right? This is the kind of money that's behind this. But imagine being this woman and you're there to take pictures, try to make a few bucks. She may be an independent journalist or photog, just trying to get some pictures that she can make some money on. And you turn around and there's an angry mob screaming at you, and a guy who's accosting you, and he's being told to F you up by women crowd. And then you see all of the cameras that were taking pictures of this confrontation turn off and him become more physical with you.
Right.
So, the hair on the back of your neck stands up. You're not smart enough to have a gun, because this is where the two-way comes in. Should have had a gun.
Would it though? I guess that would have been
attacked on the street. It's absolutely self-defense. And anything in that video, even if you didn't see the images, if you could just hear the words, and this is dark night, downtown Los Angeles, with the man that has most of his face covered, crouched down, launching himself at you. If there has ever been an opportunity to put two in somebody's chest, baby, this is it.
Yeah.
That's
Except that in California, like New York, two of the hardest states to legally carry in. So therefore, she may be following the law, but yet she's getting her ass beat and not able to defend herself.
Dragged through a gutter in the street,
right,
waiting for the police to look at her.
This is when people say, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
There you go.
Right. I know. Yeah. Folks, as you come in, hit that like button. That helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience, because guess what? The mainstream media is not reporting on this stuff. We have to depend on independent journalists like Nick Shirley, like Nick Sorter, like this woman, or whoever has a phone and is able to really capture these incidents. That's the only way we get the word out about this stuff. So please, as you come in, hit that like button, share this broadcast, post it on your social media, post it in a DM, and subscribe. That helps to let people know that we are growing, folks. People of like minds like us are growing. We're not taking this anymore. And guess what? We're going to show it with our votes. All right. And so as we can see, we've commented on these types of attacks multiple times, too many for my count. But the Democrats are still out here saying that this is not happening. This next clip is wild. So JD Vance is responding to Democrat Rep Nadler, who is calling on people to get violent with ICE officers. Take a look. This is clip 3.
But what is really the major problem in this country today is the fascism in our streets. The attacks on American citizens by masked hoodlums. If you were attacked by a masked person, you might think you were being kidnapped. You'd be justified in shooting the person to protect yourself.
Well, Vice President J.D. Vance had something to say about what you just heard from Nadler. He said this: they openly call for shooting federal officers. He called out, quote, despicable behavior from an elected official. Nadler, on defense, responded, this is BS. I'm not calling on citizens to shoot ICE. I'm calling on ICE to stop shooting citizens. Brooke Taylor on the ground in Minneapolis.
All right. Nicole, I want to get your opinion on this. Do you believe that Nadler, however you pronounce his name, was calling for them to be violent with ICE officers?
Of course, this is his dog whistle. You're going to hear more and more Democrats get right up to saying you should shoot them, you should fight them, and get within a hair of saying it out loud. This is signaling to their violent base that violence is going to be tolerated. And again, I've said this for months. Shelley said this for months. Until they change these rules of engagement and these people do some real time, they're going to continue to act up. Today, these riots, I think it's 300 or 3,000% of the attacks percentage is up on ICE agents. We wouldn't have any of this if 2020 would have been different. If that summer of love would have been handled with law and order, we wouldn't be in this position. We would not. They would have learned a lesson then. But instead, we've emboldened them. We told them, you'll get a slap on the wrist. You'll get community service. That's if the police do anything. If. It's outrageous behavior by any stretch. Imagine any other group doing this. Imagine if Antifa was a group of young Black boys. Would we be in this situation? Would the rhetoric be the same? It would not. It would not.
Yeah. Yeah, Shelley, what are your thoughts?
Of course, Nadler was, I would say, instigating, if you will, urging his people, whomever they are, to do what they're doing and continue. This is not the first time we've seen this. During the summer of love, as they call it, remember, we had Maxine Waters, other congressmen out saying, go basically and stop our people in the office from eating at restaurants. Almost, I don't know if they use the words attack, but basically attack them, attack their families, scare them, get as close as you can, things like that. So, and when something happens, what do? They blame the right for this. They blame, the gun carriers, okay? Everybody wants to blame people who carry guns legally or whatever, but they will find a way. But this is what they do. They go ever so close, and then they take their hands off. and let the chips fall where they may. These are the people who are supposed to be upholding our laws so that people can, quote unquote, I guess not quote unquote, peacefully protest and assemble. Look, most of I keep blaming Congress. I blame Congress for a lot of things. I blame the government, but this is in their purview. The law and order, the laws, so to speak, are not being upheld. Many of these Antifa thugs, whatever, they are allowed to go and run roughshod, cause all kinds of destruction. Police are obviously standing by, like we've seen. This is not the first time we've seen it in California. They're standing by on the periphery. These people want the chaos. They want to destroy. That's all they do. Destroy, 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 and murder, kill, whatever word you want to use there. This is what they do. Until I'm going to say until they are
Shelly
back. Until they are pushed back, this is going to continue.
Yeah. I call it the Candace Owens rhetoric, because what they do is they insinuate, they get right up to the line before saying go out and attack these ICE officers. Candace Owens was doing this with TPUSA, and after Charlie Kirk's death, they did it, something's going on, she was call, now she's outright saying that TPUSA was behind it. But up until recently, she was just going up against the line, saying that they were behind it, saying the Jews were, somehow involved, but not really saying that they, were behind Charlie Kirk's assassination. So, this is what they're doing, and they continue to do this. And we got to call them out. We have to call them out. And I love that JD Vance was doing that. But again, as you mentioned, Shelly, this is going to turn into real issues for our officers on the street. These people are vile. And again, they are so contradictory. They come out and say, oh, we're for inclusivity, the right are racist. And then you have this. So recently, a Black ICE officer was in, I believe, Minneapolis. And of course, they were working on an investigation, and a leftist hurls a vile racial slur at him. Take a look here. This is clip 4.
That kind of energy, like we should rip people apart from their families. Are you a man?
Wow.
Wow, is that a question?
Wow.
Okay. How do you feel about ripping people from their families? Does that feel good?
Fucking house nigga in here.
Sir, I need to move.
Fucking house nigga working for the fucking KKK. What the fuck's wrong with you people? Why are you calling a woman a man? Sir, I mean, what kind of a guy does that?
Fucking house nigga, bitch.
Go up for your fucking slave.
Because it was a man. That set them off. That set them off. Shelly, what are your thoughts?
Okay, one thing. Number one, I would ask, why were those people allowed to get so close? That's number one. Why were they allowed to get so close?
That's all we've seen.
That's what I'm saying. Where is the periphery? That's number one. Number two, these people only know, I'm going to say it again, they only know destruction. They're asking this man, whatever. I don't even know what the incident was about. They're just asking, Ketanji Brown Jackson doesn't know what a woman is either. I mean, and they would have voted for her. They don't know what fascism is. They are, you can't even reason with these people. There's no, mutual ground foundation. You cannot reason with these people. These people want to destroy and harm you. They're too close, number one. Again, I don't know where they were coming from an operation going to the ICE personnel. But again, these people should have been backed up. The police obviously are not being allowed to be there to maintain the distances or whatever. I don't know. It's just frustrating all around.
Now, Nicole, and you let me know what you think on this. So these ICE officers are actually doing operations or investigations that aren't like, it's not like when the police call you and you come out and there's some type of disturbance or issue and you realize it and then you put out the tape. I don't think this is a situation where they can really put out tape. Is it? I mean, do you know what I'm saying there? Do you understand?
Right. No, so this is not a situation where they're doing an investigation of any sort. They're there picking people up. You know, so these people have a detainer, or they have an order for removal. So this is what they're doing. If they're to be detained, they're going to detain them. They're going to go and put some handcuffs on them, take them back to the ICE facility, and work through whatever reason that they needed to be detained. If they have an order for removal, which many of them do because they are criminal illegal aliens, not just your regular garden variety kind of criminal, but these are people who've committed felonies, serious felonies. So they're picking them up like police often do. They're slapping cuffs on them, putting them in the car. Here's where the disconnect becomes. The people who are being paid the part-time job to get into the faces of these ICE officers, to do exactly what you saw them do, try to agitate them enough for the ICE officer to do or say something out of character. They'll say, oh no, we know they're picking up child molesters and rapists. We know that they're doing that, but we don't like the way they're doing it. That makes no sense. But again, expecting sense from people who can't figure out the difference between XX and XY is our fault. We should not expect them to be sensible. I'm going to say this. They've had one too many COVID shots. Something has messed up their mind. 1 and 1 does not make 2. They don't get it. They don't get it in a big way. However, there is something to be said for the ability of an American citizen to hold a sign and stand on the side of the road and be angry with something. Be angry with your government. Be angry with the rule of law. But what you cannot do is impede an investigation. You most certainly can't get in between someone who's being arrested. This is what I mean by the rules of engagement. So every operation has a rules of engagement. They give you this little booklet that says, here are the things that you're allowed to do. Here are the things that you're not allowed to do. The list of things that they're not allowed to do is too long, way too long. That list should be kill people. The rest of it, pepper spray, chokehold, throat punch, kicking the shin, all that should be on the list. They should be able to defend themselves from these lunatic, crazy ass liberal white women and men, because that last one was definitely a man.
Oh, yeah. But you heard what he said, she. They called the black officer a house nigger. Did you all hear that in the comments?
Yeah, I did. That's look, leftists are racist. They don't know real racists, because if that's the case, they would look in the mirror. 99.99% of them are actual racists, if you will. If you think about the things that they spew and say, and then how they always seem to use that race bomb, like an F-bomb, at just the right moment, right? They don't look that you cannot reason with them. They are not reasonable. They're not mature. They run on emotion. What's the sign? Run on Duncan. They run on emotion.
Agreed. And you know what was really interesting? They tried to use that house nigger thing to make him feel some kind of way. But what they don't understand is most of the men that I know on the right, you're going to have to come a lot harder than that. We've been called worse by better. You're going to have to try much harder than calling me something that I've never been. But Peter is my first name in the chat is right. Water cannons. They should have water cannons. They should have bear spray, pepper spray, an eye gouge. I got a list. All the things I think they should be able to do to people who jump in front of their way from bringing to justice child, rapists. The list is so long. Every day, ICE.gov puts out like these little trading card posters of the criminals that they're picking up. They're not just picking up, randos. That's not what they're doing. They're picking up the worst of the worst. However, if the randos with the worst of the worst also happen to be illegal, that's a twofer, right? You should not hang out with people who've committed serious felonies.
But that doesn't even matter to them. It doesn't matter who they're picking up. They're just running on robot, if you will, running on robot. ICE, let me go out here and protest or agitate or whatever the case may be. This is where the 287G plans, policies should come into effect. Although again, cities and states have the right to, I guess, not honor them or not institute them. But if the local police were there, the local police would be responsible for, again, maintaining a periphery, if you will. Yell, scream all you want, but then you can't go beyond this line. But this is what many cities, blue cities primarily, and blue states are saying, no, we're not going to do that anymore. Or we're not going to allow them to do that.
Sheriff. We need more elected sheriffs and less
bureaucrats,
police,
bureaucrats,
right? So the difference is this: your local sheriff is elected. He answers directly to the people. So we have here in Maryland some of the top sheriffs in the nation. And when I think about Sheriff Mike Lewis over in Wycomico County, it's hard to think of a sheriff, maybe Shady Grady just a second to him. But Mike Lewis is very much a man of the people. He likes people and people like him. However, back in his younger days, his tagline was, "Who's your daddy?" Because he was tagging them going up and down 50, cutting through the Eastern Shore. He was knocking them down 2, 3, 4 at a time. This is how he built his reputation. He did exactly what ICE is doing. He did the investigation. He knew who he was going after, and he went after them and got them. Nobody jumped in the middle of the road. Nobody was screaming. Nobody threw a snowball at this man. He was doing his job, and the community was grateful. That's what we need to see.
Yeah, it's terrible, folks. Producers, can we play that clip again? Because some people say they did not hear that he, she, or whoever it was call the guy the racial
You
slur.
do have to listen closely. It's towards the end of the video.
Yeah.
Energy. Like we should rip people apart from their families. Are you a man?
Wow.
Wow, is that a question?
Wow.
Okay. How do you feel about ripping people from their families? Does that feel good?
Fucking house nigga in here. Sir, I need to move. Fucking house nigga working for the fucking KKK. What the fuck's wrong with you people?
Why are you calling a woman a man? I mean, what kind of a guy does that?
Fucking house nigga, bitch. Go look for your fucking slave.
So he said it 3 times. Now, I didn't catch that the first time. I thought he only quoted once. He said it 3 times, and then somebody else in the background said, "You slave bitch." So this is what I'm talking about. Where is the outrage? You know, generally speaking, when anyone hurls some type of racial slur, the left goes nuts about it. All right. Crickets. I don't even know if this was even reported on the mainstream news. And they would if it was on the other side. They're hypocrites, folks. They are hypocrites.
Listen, they're more likely to play that clip and say, "Look at him misgendering this being." Now, the house nigger 3 times is not a problem for them. No, because clearly this man doesn't drink their Kool-Aid. But kudos to him for thinking they're funny, because they are. You know, they're absolutely funny.
Yeah, folks, make this go viral. We want this to go viral, folks, because you have people like Democrat Representative Nadler and the rest. We're going to talk about this towards the end of the show. The Baltimore City Mayor, you know, we're violent, we're racist. You know, it's the other way around. I was a Democrat for probably most of my life, more so than I have been a conservative. Okay. And I will tell you, I have never been called more racial slurs than I have as a Republican. As a Black Republican, I get called more, and I bet you ladies can say the same. We get called more racial slurs as Black conservatives than we ever got called as Democrats.
I don't listen. I've never been a Democrat, so I don't have that reference. But I can tell you definitively.
I have over time. Yeah, I have, and I probably get called more by Black people.
Oh yeah,
this is what I was just about to say, Shelley. You know, one day when I sit down and write my political memoir, and you know, it's going to be funny, y'all. Maybe the first 10 pages is going to be all the fancy names I've been called over the course of my lifetime by Black Democrats. It's going to be a very interesting. They're very creative. They put some words together that don't necessarily match. It don't really matter. But what happens is they get so angry that you've chosen not to follow their path forward. And so when you say, "Listen, you want to talk about it?" and they bring up the same old stale talking points, and when you hit them with basic facts and information, they look at you like, "How dare you know that? How dare you know that? We're not supposed to be that way. We're all supposed to be this particular way. Why are you over there?" And it's like, well, listen, it's free over here. Freedom is over here. You want to come over here and get some of this freedom on you? It's like God's favor. You can't even run from it. This freedom is so good, but it's going to cost you something. And that's your dependence on the Democrat Party.
Right.
It's going to cost you that. So cut the cord and come on over here and get some of this freedom, neighbor. And they will cuss you out in ways that you have never heard. And some of them is church people.
Oh yeah.
Let's say that.
Oh yeah. No, I think we have some super chats here.
We do. Let's see. Who do we have here? We have Teresa. Thank you for your $10 super chat. Teresa says, I love you. I love your chats. It's good to see I'm not crazy for thinking all these lefties are delusional. No, you're not. Pray for America. We are in trouble. Thank you, Teresa, for that.
Yes.
And I think we have MC Rock. Thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Thank you for that.
Yes, indeed. That's
Jay
a great way to support us as well. With this,
Jay Hunter, thank you for your $5 super chat. Oh shit! I caught my girls. Hey y'all. Hi Jay. Thank you for that.
Hey,
Thank you
Jay.
for stopping by.
All right, y'all. Look, the last time I talked to you about t-shirts, I realized it was only 28 degrees outside. We do have sweatshirts. We absolutely do have sweatshirts. We have sweatshirts. We have hoodies. We have a whole lot of different merch. Personally, I like the white hoodie. I'm gonna just put that out there. Y'all know that's my thing. But we do have it in a variety of colors. I think there's actually a pillow that I want to order for the backseat of my car, just in case I ever get pulled over by a Democrat sheriff's deputy. And you're like, look, I want my money back, right? So this particular store has everything. Black, not your color, you can do blue. Not blue, you can do red. All of the colors that you can think of. It's not necessarily the color of the shirt that matters. It's the sentiment of the shirt. Give me my money back should be on the tips of every American's tongue after we have seen what's happening around this nation to our tax dollars. This is absolutely ridiculous. I'm just going to tell you, Jerry Nadler, that guy who suggested that people start shooting ICE, been in office 32 years.
Wow.
32 years. Imagine how much money this man has stolen from us. I want my money back. We should all get a shirt and show up downtown, go pay him a visit with our shirts on. I want my money back, Jerry. I want every dollar back. And if that doesn't work, we could always revert to our unapologetically American shirts. Come in super handy, super duper handy. So get your merch, take your pictures, post it in the Discord so we can take a look at how great you look in your Poppin' Politics merch.
All right. We got some more super chats here, folks. Thank you.
Here we have Tyrone Davis. Thank you for your $10 super chat. All the conservatives should flip the script and scream in rage about this video like the liberals would. Just keep it on loop. Right. Carolyn Cherry, thank you for your $5 super chat. They are so emboldened now. Minneapolis or Minnesota will never have law and order again, and the rest of the leftist city will follow. This country is in trouble. Thank you, Carolyn, for chiming in there. Don't forget, you all hit that like, share, and subscribe. Get your comments in, get your chats in, pop off in our chat, but hit that like, share, and subscribe while you're doing that. If you're leaving, hit it before you go. If you're coming in, hit it when you come in.
Absolutely. Absolutely, folks. So, some good news here. A brand new Harvard-Harris poll shows that when it comes to Trump's response to the anti-ICE chaos in Minneapolis, this is actually one of the strongest issues. So even more damaging for Democrats, believe it or not. A clear majority of voters say Democrat politicians are the ones encouraging resistance to federal law enforcement. So this Harvard Caps Harris poll has 51% approved of Trump's handling of the anti-ICE unrest, 47% approved of his efforts to fight crime in cities, and 46% approved of his handling of immigration. So basically, when this chaos erupts, voters still trust President Trump more than Democrat leaders. Do you all believe this is encouraging, Nicole?
Absolutely. Listen, nobody likes child rapists. Nobody. I don't care how lefty lunatic you are. I don't think there's one person in this nation, aside from the mother of said rapist, that could, with a straight face, say we want to keep these people in our country. What I've heard over and over again from the crazy people, I'm just going to call them crazy, is that it's not what they're doing, it's the way that they're doing it that's making them angry. And Barack did it so much better because he met him at the border. I said, okay, but they're already here. So what do? Do we allow 20 million people to inhabit our nation fully unvetted, doing whatever it is that they choose to do? Is that well, there's got to be a better way. I said, there is no better way, because let me tell you, if you went out and you harmed someone, the police aren't going to stop and think, well, is there a better way than going to her house and arresting her? They're going to pick you up. They pick you up in your lunch break, halfway through your sandwich, mid-chew. They would tase you, pepper spray you, drag you by your hair to that cop car, and you would face justice. We're doing the same thing. But their minds are so warped because they're listening to all of these talking points from MSDNC. It's telling them, oh, they're going against humanity and this is not in the Constitution. No, the Constitution talks endlessly about our borders, endlessly about us being a sovereign nation. This is the reason why we have said Constitution. But again, it's like arguing with a 2-year-old. They got all the right emotions, they're just in the wrong order. That's exactly what it's like. It's like arguing with a toddler. You're never going to win.
Yeah. This polling actually followed the fatal shooting of Alex Prady, who, as you all know, was the ICU nurse and this anti-ICE agitator who interrupted federal agents while he was armed. So respondents also knew about Renee Good, who blocked ICE agents with her vehicle and swerved into the ICE officers. So even though we had these confrontations, basically when politicians demonize law enforcement, people get hurt, and the voters understand this. So, I mean, I think this is good news. I really do. What are your thoughts, Shelley?
Yeah, look, generally speaking, Americans, by and large, they want to be able to live, raise their families, go to work, enjoy their leisure, things like that. And they want that in, I'm going to say, relative safety, if you will. They want law and order. What they don't want chaos everywhere, because that makes it unstable for everybody, or certainly the places where that instability is happening. Ultimately, it affects our country. So Americans don't like seeing that. They, generally speaking, also Republican Party, if you will, or people more right of center, have trusted law enforcement, the president, particularly in office, the Republican president, to maintain that semblance, if you will, of law and order. I'm going to say decency, so that we all can function. These thug groups, and they're barbarian. They're even beyond thugs. These thug groups, most people do not like them. You do have the leftists that won't downplay them or won't call them out because they're on that side. But most Americans, independents, right of center, even left of center, blue dog Democrats, they don't like them. But when you have congressmen like Nadler, Maxine Waters, other people urging them on, that gives them a false sense of credulity, if you will. And then the media coming right alongside and not calling them out. The guy talking about it was a peaceful protest with the damn city burning in behind. Americans do not tell them that what they're seeing is not what they're seeing.
Wow. Yeah. Folks, sound off in the chat. Let us know what you think. What are you hearing in your states, in your communities, from people who may have been on the fence or who are independent, they're not, based like us, but are on the fence. I'm curious. Do you hear people saying, the Democrat Party has become unhinged, I can't vote for them? Or are they saying, no, it's, Trump is doing too much, I'm going to vote for the Democrat? Let us know, because we have had some troubling elections in what we would call heavily Republican areas, particularly the one in Texas for the Senate race that went for the Democrats. So I'm curious to know what you guys think. All right. I know we have some super chats here, folks. Thank you all so much. What do we have here?
Tyrone Davis again. Thank you for your $10 super chat. I think we read this one, but
we read this one already.
Carolyn, $5 super chat. Thank you. She says they are so emboldened now. Minneapolis will never have law and order again, and the rest of the leftist city will follow. The country is in trouble. Thank you, Carolyn, for that. Robert Mason, thank you for your $5 super chat and for being a member of our Freedom Club. Robert says, Can I apologize to your audience and lovers of your content, including me? I got way out of bounds. Sorry, ladies in audience. Okay, Robert, I'm scared to ask this question. I don't know what you're talking about. So
Me either.
in the chat, I'm afraid to ask. What happened,
Robert?
It might have been better left unspoken, Robert.
Right. Inquiring minds want to know what happened.
Right. We didn't see it.
Thank you for that.
See no evil, hear no evil, right?
Whatever it is, you were forgiven. We're those kind of women.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Well, so let's change gears a little bit, folks. I mean, when we talk about this, Nicole brought this to our attention, this story that we're about to tell you all about, and I was shocked. Nicole, when you shared this, I looked at it briefly and I was like, okay. And then as I'm looking, I actually started looking into it, and I was like, oh my goodness. I actually said God, because I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. In March of 2021, America was told a horrifying story. We were told that white middle school boys in Plano, Texas, had tortured their Black classmate, forced him to actually drink urine, shot him with BB guns, and committed a racially motivated hate crime. I mean, this thing was so vicious that it sparked protest, national outrage, and nonstop media coverage. I mean, major outlets ran with this. Activists descended upon Plano. Careers were destroyed. Do you guys remember this? I'm talking to the chat. Let us know, do you all remember this story? Here is a reminder. This is clip 6.
Also new tonight, North Texas mother is asking for more accountability. This is after her son was attacked at a sleepover. This evening, she found out that 2 young students will be facing charges, but considering what they forced him to do, she says, and told our Aaron Jones, the possible punishment, not even enough.
For more than 7 months, they've been waiting for criminal charges. Summer Smith's son, 13 at the time, attending Haggard Middle School, shown in this now viral video being forced to drink urine at a sleepover last February. Smith says one of Samarian Humphrey's classmates befriended him a month prior to get him to attend with the intention of bullying and assaulting him, and that night he was also shot with BBs while asleep, then called racial slurs.
And it has affected him. You know, his depression, his anxiety and stuff is definitely affecting him. And we're by no means out of, the healing process.
Plano police launched an investigation, and Smith says in a meeting today, she learned 2 of the students will each be facing an assault by contact charge, a Class C misdemeanor charged as juveniles.
To find out that it's like the equivalent of a ticket with just a little fine, that says to me what they think about my child.
They chose the absolute lowest level, which is the equivalent of a ticket. No jail time, no threat of jail time. It's fine.
Smith's attorney, Kim Cole, hoping for at the very least a Class A misdemeanor.
When you handle these types of situations with kid gloves, it's not a deterrent. They have been protecting these kids from day one. And I can't say that I'm surprised.
She says she'll now be filing civil claims against them. Meanwhile, Smith says her son has created an anti-bullying organization that aims to make sure what happened to him doesn't happen to.
Folks, it was all a lie. A lie. It was a complete hoax. Another Juicy Smollett racial hoax. All right, so let's unpack this. So again, the allegations centered on Asher Van, a white middle schooler accused of orchestrating a racial attack. NBC, CNN, CBS, everybody ran with this story, okay? NAACP went down there. Black Lives Matter came down there. Well, in October of last year, so a couple months ago, a racially diverse Texas jury, including 4 Black jurors, heard the evidence, and the verdict was the story was fabricated. Judge Benjamin Smith ordered $3.2 million in damages against the accusers. The jury concluded that the story was pushed to build public profiles, exploit the BLM moment, and cash in via donations. I think how much money did they make, Nicole?
$120,000 is what that was their goal. So that attorney that's in the picture with the mother is the same attorney that started with Carmelo Anthony.
What?
You know, the black boy that stabbed the white boy at the track meet.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know
that. This is their grift, right? This particular situation with these boys, there were a group of boys. It was a sleepover. Texas was going to have a rare winter storm. So they decided that they were all going to get together and, you know, do what boys do. Dumb shit. That's what boys do. I got 19 nephews. They still do dumb shit, right? So this is what little boys do when they're left reasonably unattended. They all brought their BB guns because they were going to go out and hunt frogs. Some country kid stuff, right? Well, the weather was too bad to hunt frogs, so they decided to put on paintball masks and shoot each other with the guns in the mask. Everybody got shot. Everybody shot somebody. Then the prank was if you fall asleep first, something was going to happen to you. Now, you know, college kids do that too. So they fell asleep. One little boy gave another boy a cup of pee. And he was like, you know, because pee stinks, especially from teenage boys. Let's do that. The video that you saw was the black young man putting it up to his lips, but he didn't drink it. He smelled it and pushed it away from him. Well, the mother, 3 or 4 days after said sleepover, found out about it. And she saw this as her moment to make money. Let me tell you, I think did she do Gifts and Go, or did she do the other one? I can't remember, but whatever platform she used went up almost immediately as soon as she contacted this particular attorney. So they went to the school and the police officer said they weren't even going to file it because it was just boys acting like boys. They probably needed, you know, the backside of dad's belt. Yeah, for sure. Maybe a little bit more guidance, but this was not necessarily a crime. But because the mother was raising so much hell, they took it to a grand jury. They took it to a grand jury because they didn't want to be seen as being quote unquote racist. Here's that word again, right? So the race hustlers took to social media and they were on everything. Good Morning America, The View, and all this other stuff. BLM. Everybody had something to say. You know, down in Texas, what are they doing with these kids? And they're raising young racists and all of this foolishness. Here we are later. And this young man is ready to do some things with his life. And this story is still following him around. So they file suit, as one should do when your reputation has been impugned. And let me tell you, this $3.2 million is going to come in real handy. Real handy. Now, mom spent all of the money that she got in the gifts
GoFundMe. It was a GoFundMe.
She spent $1,000 of it, I think, actually getting her son the therapy that she said that she needed him to have.
It was less than 1,000, if I remember here. Yeah.
The rest of it she spent on rent, luxury items, hair, you know, that kind of thing. Imagine destroying the life of this young man. Wow. Imagine that on some BS. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Shelley, what are your thoughts?
Well, when I saw this and I said, I had a different question. Why are events like this, or why do they take off? Why are these hoaxes so quote unquote believable? What makes them so believable, at least initially, and then years later we find out it's a scam? So I was looking into that, and I remember Wilford Riley, I forget the name of his book, but he had written a book about hoaxes. And in his book, I know you all have heard this, the Jenna 6, the Duke lacrosse rape hoax. Of course, we know the Juicy Smollett. We know about that one. But there's some characteristics of hoaxes, if you will, or these types of events that just pull at a nation's heartstrings. That's number one. They are so emotionally grabbing, right? There's this sense of urgency. Something has to be done. Something has to be done. There's usually young people, involving young people.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the race hoaxes get a whole lot of publicity. They sound like they're too good to be true. What else did I write down here? They just sell. They sell media. They sell time, if you will. They grip us into like, oh my gosh. So this is why they work. This is why they last for as long as they do. And then years later, we find out they're proven, to be utterly false. And I wrote down this. When I hear 9 times out of 10, when I hear of a case, it may be true, maybe it is. But if you name NAACP, the Ben Crumps of the world, the BLMs, the Al Sharptons, what's that guy's name? I think his name is Dominique Alexander, the one you mentioned, Carmelo Anthony. So when I hear people like that running to these cases, I automatically say, you know what? It's a bunch of crock. It's false. So when I hear that instantly, so basically for me, you have to prove the opposite. When I hear about those people running to these cases instantly, all of a sudden these big lawyers, they're making money, they getting the public speakers and the PR. I say, you know what? That's a lie. Now you gotta reverse my thinking. I'm not even going in with the benefit of the doubt.
Well, you're one of few, Shelley, because set aside the hoaxes, like where it's criminal. Most people, particularly Black folks that I know, anything that happens to them, they could go outside and snow falls on their head and it could fall from the roof and somehow they link it to racism. Somehow they link everything to racism. That is the first thing they go to. Not that it snowed several days ago, not that I didn't wipe the snow from the roof. It's something to do with racism. The snow is white and I am Black and it is racist against me.
Yeah,
this is what they do.
Yeah,
I mean, it has become now a mental illness. It is a mental illness now because it's not even a sign of the times, folks. I mean, I could see if we were back in the 50s and, the 60s and we have issues even before the 60s and we have, serious, cultural and lawfare against, Black folks. But now it has become even more so in the minds of people and lesser so in reality. And it is being pushed by the mainstream media.
Yeah. And another thing that I noticed about many of these hoaxes, many of them.
And now it pays.
There you go. You just took the last thing about it pays. And one more, I had that down there. Money, it sells, and I had money. And one more thing I noticed about many of them, the first thing I hear, or one of the first things, his mother says this, or his mother is, out, saying how you see the pictures of the mother and, she's emotional and this shouldn't have happened to. It's usually a mother and a son. It's usually a mother and a son. And again, that's not every case, but these are some of the characteristics that I pull. And when I see these characteristics, at least many of them in one setting, so to speak, I say, you know what? Something's not right. I do. And I just do. I'll give you another. This was not a hoax. This was an actual murder of 2 little boys. I think it was in 2000. Everything happened in 2006. I think it was 2006 too, when Susan Smith down in South Carolina, she drowned her 2 little boys, right? And that same year, everything happened in 2006. The lady in Ohio, where her boyfriend rolled her up in the carpet and her mother was looking for her and she had a son. They had a son together. Again, it was race involved in that, certainly with Susan Smith, because she said it was a Black guy on the road that told her to pull over. When I hear these things, when I heard about the lady's name was Jessie and her son, I forget her son's name, but she was being looked for. Her boyfriend, again, murdered her or whatever, and the son saw it, and the boyfriend was Black, she was white, so they had a mixed child. Again, when I hear race involved, and usually it's a mother and a son in many cases, but some things it's just like, something's not right about that. You won't have to prove me the opposite way.
But do you think it's starting to saturate though? Because we hear this all the time, Black fatigue, ghetto fatigue, hell, I got Democrat fatigue, at some point, these words lose their fight. They lose their meaning, their bite. because everything is racist. Like, the snow is racist. The water is racist. Time is racist. I'm late because I'm Black. I'm late because I'm from El Salvador. I'm late because I'm this and that. You hear these excuses, and they use race as a scapegoat and say, well, you can't do anything with me. You can't hold me accountable because I am insert, I'm Black, indigenous, a person of color, or whatever that combination is. And that's supposed to make it okay.
It would, Nicole, it would die down, I guess, on its own, if you will. But you have two things. You got media and you got money. And by money, particularly with the lawyers and, like I said, the NAA. So you had the media. With regular people, it might die down a little bit and play out on its own. But the media and the money will keep it looping.
Yeah, and you mentioned when we were talking about voter registration. Voter registration is racist. Asking someone for an ID is racist. I mean, the list goes on, folks. And I'm talking to Black folk. Are you tired? Are you tired? What is going on? Jussie Smollett, Bubba Wallace, the whole Black Lives Movement was a big lie. I mean, all this outrage, and then the facts become an afterthought. It's crazy. It's crazy, and the thing about it is, it's never. I'm not gonna say never, but most of the time, it's not even a misunderstanding. These people are intentionally lying. They are weaponizing these lies.
Absolutely. In the cases where it could be legitimate, they're not giving the attention that it needs because everybody is already like, you know what? We've been through this so much. You don't even believe it when it could be legitimately true. They are the ones that got to really fight through the muck and mire to say, no, this is true. Here's the evidence. But they're not given the, the focus that it needs because we already watered down and tired from all of the other hoaxes.
That's it. It's the boy who cried wolf. And Black America is finding that, because I see quite a few X pages and IG pages dedicated to calling them out. And it's not, people say, oh, it's so racist. It's so racist. And it's not racist. What they're doing is saying, every time you get pulled over and you act a damn fool, you say, well, you can't arrest me because I'm Black. You can't arrest me because I'm a woman. Oh, don't touch me because I'm pregnant. You got all of these reasons to not be accountable for your behavior. Right. So what's going to happen when we don't care anymore that you're Black, a woman, or pregnant? What happens when all of your excuses are gone and you're stripped down to the bare bones and you really have to take a hard look at who you are in the mirror? Just listening to the anchor who was reading the story, he made it like all was missing was a little violin in the back. He was like, he worked hard to make this friend over, a month ago and this and that. Like, these kids been friends the whole school year. This wasn't a new friendship.
And what does that do? Right. And then the children. Think about the children. How did she coax this boy into she and the attorney? How did they coax these kids into doing this stuff? I mean, how does that affect a child when they see the lengths of lies, of being dishonest that their parents will go to?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really sad. It really is. But I know we got to move on.
Yeah, we have a super chatter here, I think.
Yes.
All right, producers. I think you were letting me know that there was a super chatter.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Teresa's back again. Thank you, Teresa, for your $5 super chat. I finally caught you live. So right about these stories. What kind of punishment did Carmelo get? I haven't heard anything. I don't think the case has been to the.
It's not.
Yeah.
I think in June is when
this summer.
Yeah.
Yep. This summer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of liars, folks, it's not just everyday citizens. Mm-hmm. We got to talk about this Sambo Baldy of the East. Sambo Baldy of the East with the high booty. Okay. Does anyone in the chat know who we're about to talk about? Let's see. Does anyone know? Sambo Baldy of the East. If you've watched this show long enough, you know that we talk about his high booty. I'm waiting for somebody to see.
Come on.
I don't see that anyone is
all right, come on, let's let them know, KJ.
Oh, yep, Wes Moore.
Wes Moore, you got it.
Wes
My
Moore.
girl.
You are right. All right, let's get into this. So take a look at this next video first so we can set the stage of what actually occurred. This is clip 5.
And I think about it in the case of like my grandfather, where my grandfather was actually the first one on my mom's side of the family born in this country. He was born in Charleston, South Carolina, but he wasn't raised here. And the reason was because when he was just a toddler, the Ku Klux Klan ran him and the rest of my family out of this country. Not just out of Charleston, South Carolina, because my great-grandfather was a minister, and he's a very vocal minister. And eventually the verbal threats became physical ones, and he picked up his family in the middle of the night and he left this country. And the majority of my family, you know, they vowed to never come back here, and they didn't. My grandfather did. My grandfather was the only one who came back to the United States and started his family here with my great-grandmother, who's actually from Cuba, and they came to the South Bronx, where he was a minister, the first black minister in the history of the Dutch Reformed Church. My grandmother was a school teacher in the South Bronx for almost 30 years. And I think about it in context of this, where this was a man who was forced out of this country when he was just a child. Some of his earliest memories were America's ugliest moments.
Oh my God. These people are psychopaths. These people are psychopaths. And let me ask you all, did you think he was reading it? It looked like he was reading this. Nicole, all right, let's talk about why this has become debunked, really. Nicole, you want to share? Or I could go.
Listen, the Free Beacon, you know, if you ever wanted great reporting, the Free Beacon is outstanding. Those reporters are like pit bulls with a greasy pork chop bone. They don't let go of nothing. You know, once they get assigned a story, it's on and popping. So, you know, churches keep records, very, very good records, and all of it is a lie. There was no Ku Klux Klan in the town where he says all of this happened. You know, a very popular preacher passed away in, I think it was Jamaica.
Right.
And because that popular preacher passed away, they needed a new preacher. And so they tapped his great-grandfather to be that preacher. So he didn't leave America running from the Klan. Nobody was after him. He packed up his family and went to the islands for a job, a permanent position. So all of this, like everything else about Wes Moore, is an absolute lie. Absolute lie. I don't even think his name is Wes. What's his real name? You know, somebody take a picture of him, put it in chat GPT and see who he really is. At this point, everything this man has said to voters is a lie. However, liberals love him. They love some Sheen Obama. This is who he is. This dude is almost as fake as Hakeem Jeffries. Almost. Right? Real close.
And another thing is where the town where he claimed this occurred, apparently the local white community held this church where his grandfather preached in high regard. You know, according to a 1924 report by a prominent Episcopal bishop in South Carolina. I mean, this guy, wow.
Lies about lies, which is going to be interesting because he's having, allegedly, he's having a town hall, I think the 12th or 13th of this month, with CBS National News in Cambridge, Maryland. So they reached out to a friend of mine who runs a fairly large young Republican organization and asked her if she would be helpful in getting young Republicans to come to this event, this town hall, to ask questions. Now, not regular Republicans, just the young ones. And CBS National is in New York. They have no idea about the geography of Maryland. So when she reached out to me about it, I said, Cambridge? You know, Cambridge is Dorchester County, it's Eastern Shore. Why would Wes Moore be coming to the Eastern Shore? It makes no sense. And then I thought about it. Oh, yeah, it's Black History Month. And Cambridge has the first African-American settlement, you know, in Maryland, right? And a storied history about Black people fighting for better jobs and equality and all of that. If you've noticed, his last 5 or 6 comments have been about him being the first Black to do this, him being Black and doing that, Black, blackity black. And now he's going to Cambridge to try to talk this same foolishness. So it's going to be an interesting day. CBS National is not exactly what we would call open media. So anyone who wanted to participate, anyone who wants to ask a question has to be fully vetted. And of course, you can't ask him a question about the lies about his family history. He would probably spin it anyway. He would probably say, well, you know, people in your family tell you stories. It may not necessarily be true. Kind of like he did about his military career.
Yeah. Shelly, what are your thoughts?
Okay. This man makes me sick. Okay. Literally. He makes me sick like a female bitch. That's what he reminds me of. That's how he makes me sick. You know how some females, I can think of maybe 1 or 2 that I just don't like them. That's how he's like a female, like a male female version, if you will, however you say it. That's number 1. Number 2, since Wes Moore, the other Wes Moore, he has been lying since he wrote that book. Since he said he was born or raised in Baltimore when they was in New York in some elite schools, he has lied about his military service. Okay, this is nothing more. He makes up these stories, and I don't even know why he has to make them up because, like you said, Nicole, millions of people here just love him. Okay. He probably is lying. He probably got some damn prosthesis to make his ass so big. Okay?
Oh, I think he's got a vagina. I am waiting for him to part the lip.
Bottom surgery. Maybe he does. Okay. But this man, that's all. And he's so phony. Even relaying the story, you don't even get a sense of wow. You know what I mean? I know older people. I see older people almost every day, and they might have stories, you know, when I was young and back in my day, and the stories are kind of gripping, if you will, right? You're like, wow, y'all, you know, you don't even get that sense from him. Okay, he is making this up. Okay, his grandfather, whomever it was, went for a damn job in Jamaica. That's where he went. He went to go to work. I mean, why do you have to add all the sensationalism around?
Oh, wait, but here's the thing. His grandfather went home for work. He went back to where he's from. He made it sound like he was chased to another nation with his kids in tow, and there was a burning cross and dudes on horses and all that. No, sir. No, sir.
According to the same article, I'm sorry, in the Free Beacon, supposedly, I think it was 2006, I think, or whatever, he had written a thesis, supposedly, that he never turned in. And then he was supposed to be this expert on radical Islam. This man makes up. This is why I say his wife, Dawn, she's not even impressed by him. But see, she can't come out and say that, because if she comes out and says that, she would be, you know, the Black woman complaining, but she knows he's fake too. She looks bored when she's with him. She looks totally bored when she's standing next to him. He doesn't even get her riled up.
Well, we will see, folks. We will see. It's not the end of this stuff, though, folks. Before we go on and let you know the rest of this, let's get to the super chatters here.
All right, let's see what super chats say. All right, we have Carolyn again. Thank you for your $5 super chat. You ladies are such a blessing to me. I appreciate your perspectives. Love you all. Thank you, Carolyn. Love you.
Appreciate you.
All right, who else do we have? Kung Fu, CJ, for your $2 super chat, and one of our mods and one of our members. Thank you, Kung Fu. He says, "Oh, Shelly, you so mean." Kung Fu, he is sickening. I know he's sickening. Ron, damn, I think I'm sorry. Ron, thank you. Rhonda, I'm sorry, Rhonda, I'm running everything together. Thank you for your $5 super chat and for being a member of our Freedom Club. She says, "Hello, ladies, and love you guys." Thank you, Rhonda. We love you too.
Yes, indeed. Thank you all so much. All right. And folks, you can also, if you're unable to super chat, we do have Cash App. So that's a great way to support the channel as well. We will put the Cash App link for you all to take a look there. So if you're unable to super chat, you can always Cash App us right there. It's at the bottom there. Cash App. Be More Pop Stars is the name. Be More Pop Stars. All right. Let me see here. Yeah, thank you all so much. We really appreciate you. All right. So I want to keep this train going. And want to dig deeper into this, folks, because it's not just the lies about his ancestry and his family history. Those are small things, honestly. But he's allegedly lied about some really pretty big things. And so tonight we want to dig into what may be one of the most brazen government cover-ups in Maryland history. Mm-hmm. And surprise, surprise, it all centers around the Democrats, bureaucracy, and our tax dollars. Okay, so this story didn't come from, right-wing bloggers or the internet. It came from mainstream media. Wow. The Baltimore Sun, working alongside Fox 45. And what they uncovered is explosive. Okay, multiple whistleblowers inside Maryland's Department of Human Services are alleging that state officials intentionally inflated SNAP error rates to dodge massive federal penalties that could have cost taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars. Take a look here. This is clip 7.
Governor, you said an investigation took place into SNAP allegations. Who conducted that investigation? When did it conclude? And when do you plan to fulfill your promise to release its findings?
Well, I think we've seen the results. The results.
Where?
The results are that when I first became the governor, Maryland had the second highest SNAP error rate in the entire country. That since I've become the governor, we are now down 60%. 60, amongst the fastest drop in the entire country. And in addition to that, we are committed through this next process to make sure we're continuing to drive down the SNAP error rate, making sure that we have a sustainable SNAP system and making sure we have a system that actually can support people has been something that we've been focusing on. And so I think the results are the results. We went from second worst in the country to now having amongst the fastest drop in SNAP error rates.
So, Governor, investigation didn't take place then, is what you're saying?
I think the results show that any type of accusation that there was an artificially high manipulation is not accurate because it didn't happen.
All right. So, ladies, can one of you explain what actually, because he's kicking the can down the curb, but I want to make sure the audience understands what he did. Do you all? Okay.
Yeah. What he did was, because Maryland had a high error rate, he said he was going to do a report, an investigation, and produce the results. Well, he hasn't produced the results. There has been no investigation. What he is saying here, which doesn't really make sense, he said since he's been in office, that error rate has declined by 60%, okay? To now we have one of the lowest. Well, if there was no need to do it, then why was there such a decline? He's saying it doesn't need to be an investigation because it didn't happen. Well, then why was there such a 60% decline if there was no high error rate from the beginning? This man, he makes up stuff on the go. He's sickening. I mean, Nicole, oh my God. The SNAP error rate is reported that, I forget what the actual number was, but above 6%, if you will, above more than 6% error, there's some built-in flexibility or built-in cushion for error rates for all the states. Above and beyond that number, that percentage, it tends to intimate fraud. You're giving away money to people who don't need it, not giving away money to people who do need it. You're giving away more than they need, things like that. Well, Maryland was doing that. I say because they're basically buying people with SNAP benefits. Let me say it. I want my money back. I want my money back. Give me my money back. Maryland is, I think Maryland is the second fraudulent state outside of Minneapolis, Minnesota.
So wait, Nicole, when he's talking about this SNAP error rate, so basically there was a high SNAP error rate, because I remember reading the headlines, saying that our state had one of the highest error rates in the country. And now he's saying that has come down without any investigation. But when they say SNAP error rate, what does that actually mean?
So when they say SNAP error rate, these are administrative errors, right? This is not them, creating people and giving a false SNAP card to somebody. So roll back the tape. The thing that makes me crazy with him is he gives you a nugget of truth wrapped in a lie, and then he fries it in some bullshit and tells you it's dinner. So
wait, before you see what he did. My sister does this when she lies. I'm gonna put you on something. she starts to stutter a little bit. So he did this thing where he was like, and he did and she talks from the side of her mouth. Well, the no, but you saw the investigation. The man is clearly lying.
There was no need for an investigation. And let me tell you why the error rate was high. Remember, when he came into office, we were coming out of COVID, right? So the error rate was high because state workers didn't go to work. You guys remember that? The only person who went to work was me. I was the only person. I had the whole beltway to myself. I was the only person going to work. Everybody else was at home, chilling, having private parties in warehouses. My Black self was working, okay? State workers were, quote unquote, working from home. They barely work in the office. So, when they got to work from home, they weren't paying attention. They were making the mouse move, having their kids move the mouse every 15 minutes so they could still collect the check. So the error rate was incredibly high because this type of job doesn't require a lot of free thought. It does require, however, attention to small detail, like data entry, right? Attention to detail. Well, this is not what people had during COVID. People didn't have attention to detail. People was, who was popping back then? Meg Thee Stallion. Everybody was looking for Meg's new song, and people was like, "We can get liquor to go. I'm going to the store and get me some." I mean, Maryland's eyes were on something else. So the error rate was really high. And it wasn't because Larry Hogan was a bad governor. It's because error rates in every state were outrageously high because nobody was working at work. Everybody was trying to work from home, right? Then COVID's over. Here comes Wes Moore. The state workers go back to work. Their attention is back on their job. So the error rate dropped naturally. It did not require an investigation. If there were an investigation, they would have shown that people who work from home don't really work. They don't, especially when they're doing data entry. They do not. We know this definitively. Did you try to call a state agency during COVID? Good luck with it. You're probably still on hold if you tried to call a state agency during COVID. So this is what he was trying to say. The truth of the matter was we did not do an investigation. That's what he should have led with. Right. And then he could have given this explanation. You remember we were coming out of COVID and these numbers dropped naturally. Shout out to the people who work in state government, who came back to work, who got on top of the job and brought this error rate down. Now, our error rate for SNAP is different from our error rate when you talk about Medicaid. Our error rate for Medicaid is still very high. It's above.
Oh, that's what I saw. The Medicaid error rate. Okay.
Yeah. So every time the federal government gives you money, they want to make sure that you're spending it appropriately, right? Yeah. So what he should have done is had an audit. He should have audited SNAP. He should audit Medicaid to figure out where these administrative errors are happening. So what he discovered is what I just said when they figured out why we have a 6% error rate is because they didn't have enough qualified workers. They just hired people who were Democrats because that's what happens when state government flips, right?
Well, so wait a minute. So because Fox is reporting that this was intentional. So this is what I'm confused on. Okay. They're saying that former senior DHS officials are whistleblowing this.
Yes.
So
they're saying the whistleblowers have said that they kept the rate artificially high or intentionally high because after a certain point, you're supposed to pay some of that money back. Okay.
Right.
But if you don't have the money, the gap that's there, like, so the money that you're supposed to have is not there, then you can file for an extension however far out to pay that money back so that it doesn't come out of your state budget. So basically they were keeping it high. Yes. And also when it's high, it also in one instance, it also gives you, I guess, some claim that you have more people who actually need help. So therefore, you can use that. You can use it that way to say, no, it's high because we have more people, not because we're committing fraud or because so many people. Remember, I say all the time, when you apply and you are eligible for one program, you can apply and be eligible for them all. So there's also systemic errors that increase that because many of these people, you apply for SNAP, you approved. Well, then that means you qualify for a whole slew of programs all across the board, which also inflates your error rate because you have so many people on all of these public programs. All of these things feed in, everybody. Don't think, I mean, yeah, it's one program we're talking about, but don't think that it's only one. These programs are like feeders for other programs and other money, government money, federal money, taxpayer money, which is why we should want our money back. Wes Moore did not do the audit that he called for, that he's supposed to have called for. He did not do it. Now he's saying that the error rate has been reduced by about 60%. Okay. Well, if then he says so we didn't need it. Well, if it was no need to do it, then why did it reduce 60%?
So you're saying that he waited. They waited to fix it.
Absolutely.
They waited so they wouldn't have to do the audit to go back, and the audit's supposed to list, how it happened, what happened, what systems were. He doesn't want to list all that, because you know why he doesn't want to list all that? Because I believe, this is my never to be humble opinion, he doesn't want to list all that because now if it's not written, well, he can use those same things again to make it go back higher and get more money for the programs, other people. So it's like a swing. He wants to use it to his advantage and then use it to get more federal money, because his other argument is that Trump has withheld or taken a whole lot of money, particularly from federal workers, and Maryland has lost money because of Trump and all this stuff. Wes Moore is bleeding Maryland dry.
Yeah, $240 million. I mean, there are potentially federal penalties that estimate up to $240 million. It may be more. So this is $240 million the taxpayers have to pay.
Right. Those are only the penalties. $240 million. Those are only the penalties. That's not the actual loss of money.
What's interesting is, KJ, I think one of the reasons why they took their sweet time about getting their administrative house in order is because now he can do what he's saying. When I came in, it was a mess, and I dropped it 60%. If you plan to run for a higher office, you need something to run on across this nation other than you being Black. Black might get you some of the Black vote, but it ain't going to get you all of the vote, right? But being Black and being able to corral SNAP and Medicaid, oh, this guy is the truth. He's not the truth. He's not the truth. Many, many states live through this. Some states didn't live through a high error rate because they actually had their people who do their work from home actually work from home. So it was a different situation. But everything about Wes Moore deserves a second, third, and sometimes a fourth look. Anything that he says, it's not the whole truth of anything. You really have to look beyond the words, because if you don't, you're just drinking the Kool-Aid. And he's happy. He'll smile that 1,000-watt smile at you and turn around and show you his high ass as he's walking away with your pocketbook. I mean, it's ridiculous how much money this man is taking from Marylanders, and they smile at this man like they're hypnotized. It's ridiculous.
It's the same playbook. I mean, we saw this with the COVID funds, unemployment fraud, the migrant aid spending. I mean, the list goes on. They continue to push this grift, but change it slightly from state to state, from city to city, from mayor to mayor. I mean, it's the same thing, folks. We gotta vote these people out. We really do.
Absolutely. We have a few super chats. Let's see what they say about this or anything else. Wyatt, thank you for your $2 super chat. He calls it gaslighting. Absolutely. Gaslighting and ass lighting, because his ass is too big. Lynette, thank you for your $50 super chat.
Wow, thank you.
God bless you, ladies, America and President Trump. I found you ladies last year, and thank you for your real truth telling. US. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynette. That's very generous. Thank you so much.
CJ is back. Thank you for your $2 super chat. He says Nicole is our resident insider and fact checker.
Oh yeah.
Josh, hi Josh.
Hey Josh,
member of our Freedom Club. Thank you for your $20 super chat. Josh had the joy of rewatching the 1990 film Glory with Denzel, Morgan Freeman, and Matthew Broderick. Yes, I should rewatch that too.
I should rewatch it too.
I know. We need to watch it together. We're a great nation. The bonds of brotherhood will make you cry tears of joy. US. I think that's a flag, but thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
Wyatt again for your $5 super chat. He says, do y'all think it'll take a situation like the World Trade Center for people to wake up and respect America again? I mean, I hope it doesn't have to come to that.
I hope it doesn't come to that, but he's
I
got
hope not too, but I don't even know if we would come together if something like that happened. They'd find some way to blame the Jews, and then everybody would be brought up.
Rhonda, thank you, Rhonda, again, your $5 super chat, and she's a member of our Freedom Club. She says, this is why these three ladies work well together. Nicole, the fact checker, Shelly E, if you lie, she will destroy you, and KJ balances out Shelly E. Thank you, Rhonda.
Rhonda, you know us so well.
Everybody else, hit that like, share, and subscribe in that chat button, or in that, whatever you call it, in the view window on the page. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button.
Yes,
this is my thing. You guys got to get some merch. We don't have enough pictures of you. We just don't. You guys get to see us all the time. Give me my money back. Again, I apologize for trying to sell you a t-shirt earlier in the week. I know it's time. Get you a sweatshirt. Get you a hoodie. Come on. Get some merch. This merch is great. Help celebrate America 250. You know, we've already had several parties and it's just ramping up more and more. So get your Americana from Poppin' Politics and walk around and show the world what you're working with. This particular shirt, though, I think you'll get not only conservatives, but independents and liberals who will all say the same thing. I want my money back. I don't care if they got to take it out of these Somali kids' pockets. I want my money back. Shake them for their milk money. Grab them by the ankles. I want my money back. This is a great start. So get your merch, take your picture, upload it to the Discord so we can see you, and we will definitely shout you out on the program.
All right, absolutely.
We have one more super chatter here.
Oh, okay.
We have the Scrapping Beauty. Hi. $5 super chat. She says, as the daughter of the DAR, the Daughters of American Revolution, we love Americans that love Americans. America first. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed. Well, folks, it doesn't stop with Baldy Sambo, okay? It does not stop with him. Sorry. It goes on with the mayor, all right? So the Baltimore City Mayor Brandon Scott currently is under fire for spending $165,000 in taxpayer money on a luxury SUV, all right? And he's now implicated in a massive corruption scheme after it was revealed his wife's defunct nonprofit received over $100,000 in taxpayer funds while they were secretly dating. I mean, this is madness. Take a look here. This is clip 8.
Mrs. Scott started working as the director of operations for Be More Empowered in September 2021. She started dating the mayor in 2022. Her employer began to receive money through the Baltimore city government in 2023, totaling $34,950 taxpayer dollars by 2024. And that's not all. The Downtown Partnership of Baltimore awarded Be More Empowered $80,000 through a taxpayer-funded program in July 2023, a day before the Scotts went public with their relationship through a pregnancy announcement. The taxpayer-backed Baltimore Children and Youth Fund sent Be More Empowered $62,500 from July 2023 to June 2024. Meanwhile, Be More Empowered has not filed a tax form since 2023, meaning it's almost a year behind its required filings with the IRS. And none of its previous tax forms mention Mrs. Scott's position or salary. Plus, Be More Empowered is listed on the Maryland government's charity database as delinquent.
So this one is a bit of a head scratcher.
That's Linda Parsons, a professor at the University of Alabama specializing in nonprofit accounting. She said Be More Empowered needs to explain how it's managing taxpayer money. Mrs. Scott lists on her LinkedIn that she stopped working at Be More Empowered in September, which was the same month the nonprofit announced an organizational pause and was sued for not paying rent. Attempts to reach Mrs. Scott for comment were unsuccessful. Be More Empowered received $25,000 from the Baltimore city government in 2023, stemming from the Federal American Rescue Plan Act. In 2024, Be More Empowered received $9,950 listed for the Youth Works program, which runs under the Mayor's Office of Employment Development. The $80,000 Be More Empowered received from the Downtown Partnership came through the Boost program, which is funded through a combination of private and public money. Mayor Scott sent $1.6 million in ARPA money to downtown partnerships in 2022 to help back the Boost program Be More Empowered benefited from 1 year later. A spokesman for Downtown Partnership told Spotlight on Maryland that Be More Empowered spent the $80,000 in accordance with its contract, which he said he could not provide. A point that Parsons questioned.
When you have government funds, the contract is not available is not an option. Once you agree to take government funds, whether from your city or state or federal government, it's your obligation to be as transparent as possible.
The Boost grant to Be More Empowered was intended for the organization to spend on a new office space downtown on North Howard Street. However, a previous Spotlight on Maryland investigation found they never moved into that location, instead opening an office on North Charles Street, where they were sued in September for not paying rent and since moved out. Downtown Partnership's president, Shalonda Stokes, has a salary of $317,000. Stokes' Instagram shows several photos and videos of her with Mrs. Scott, including attending a Beyonce concert together last summer in a group that also included the wife of Maryland Governor Wes Moore. A spokesman for BCYF emphasized that one of its grantees chose Be More Empowered as its fiscal sponsor. The spokesman did not respond to questions about how that money was spent and whether they'll get it back.
I mean, Baltimoreans, Marylanders should be pissed about this. These people are going to Beyonce concerts, wine festivals, all on our dime. I can't even pay to see Beyonce on a TV, folks. Her tickets were $200, $300 a pop. Shelly, what's going on here? I mean, do you believe that there's something going on here, or is this all just coincidental?
Oh, absolutely. There's something going on here, and it's been going on for decades. And let me tell you why. Again, this NGO nonprofit racket, okay, that takes place in many cities, many states, because this is all on the state side too as well. This is taxpayer funded money primarily. They may get a few private donations, but again, where is the building? How come they haven't paid their rent? When I looked into the 990 IRS system, I don't even see the 2023. So maybe they just filed that, but it stops at the 2022 990 that they filed for this Be More Empowered. Okay, this is nothing but a clique, one of the cliques to be in with the group, the big group. They get all of this money. This Be More Empowered, in like with Shalonda Stokes, greater downtown Baltimore. How many of y'all been downtown Baltimore? What's down there? The harbor hasn't even been rebuilt. Okay, I drive across Howard Street a few times a month. The buildings look like they're ready to fall over. Let alone there's no renovation going on there. Hasn't been for years. This is all a high level, if you will, government professional scam with our money. What's her name? Hannah and Brandon can kiss bricks as far as I'm concerned. I don't care how many babies they have, all that, whatever. This is taxpayer money, and they need to be held to account. Give us our money back. All of these nonprofits, Monsi is a big scheme. Okay, it's under the mayor. It's called Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement. All of these things. Why does Baltimore in any state need to have so many nonprofits on the payroll? Why? It's getting taxpayer money through grants and all this stuff. It's our money. This is utterly. One more thing. According to, I think it was the Baltimore Business Journal, this was back in November 25. There are over 310 the largest nonprofits in Maryland. That's only Maryland. Are over $4 billion in the rear, some kind of way. What? Now, this was according to the Baltimore Business Journal. $4 billion unaccounted for. Now, that's in Baltimore, I'm sorry. That $4 billion, guess how much the Baltimore budget is? It's about almost $5 billion. So more than half of the money that we pay in budget, we already send out for nonprofits that can't be accounted for.
Nicole, I mean, do you think that it's a conflict of interest that she was receiving so much money and she was dating the mayor, or is that okay?
Well, you know, I agree with Shelley. I don't like when private organizations get public funds and there is no accountability. Now, that's not to say that there's probably a couple of NGOs whose charter it is to watch the other NGOs as they all take money from the government. I mean, one of the quickest ways to make money in this country is start an organization whose organization is about organization, right? Because then you can apply for grant money. And if you look a certain way and you live in a certain area and you're in the right clique, those grants are going to come whether you qualify for them or not. And grants, quote unquote, are free money, not free money, because they come from people who work hard for these damn dollars and they squander them. These organizations haven't done anything. I've been to downtown Baltimore a lot. Let me tell you what, there's nothing to see. There's nothing
but the red light district. That's the only thing still lit up and still occupied. No board ups there.
So when you think about, you know, all the cute little outfits and going to the Beyonce concert and wine festivals and all of these things, they're doing that with the money that you can't afford to do it with. You know, that you just can't afford to do it with. And it makes people physically ill, especially in places, counties that don't have a bunch of NGOs, because they don't do this in every county, but they do it in counties where they know they can get away with it, where the budget is so big and it's leaking money. And people say it's okay as long as we just keep throwing money at the problem, it'll get better. Money doesn't solve a lot of governmental problems. Smaller government solves almost all of the problems. When you can say, what happened, Shelley, to that $50,000 we gave you for this particular program. But when Shelley has a staff of 2,000 people, Shelley's got a lot of people to hide behind. When government gets so big and so generous with our tax dollars, that's how you know we're losing, because no one's going to be held to account.
And then, like you mentioned, they got all this money and didn't fulfill anything. I mean, she didn't pay. She got money for the building. Okay, they moved. They didn't go to that building. They went to another one and didn't pay the rent. She's down at the Beyonce concert talking about, can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bills? And she's talking about the taxpayers. We're paying the bills. We are paying her bills.
Absolutely. And just like the welfare programs, or when you qualify for one, you might as well qualify for them all. It works very similarly in the grant world. When you apply for a grant from whomever, particularly government taxpayer funded grants, when you apply for one and you are approved, well, then before that grant runs out, you can apply for other ones. And then a lot of times the grant applications will ask you some kind of way, have you ever applied for a grant for such and such? And you just say yes, and there's your proof. So it's almost like credit. It's like credit, you know, like you go to your bank, you know, what's your credit? What's your collateral? You know, Miss Shelley, Miss KJ, Miss Nicole, what are you using to collateralize this loan? Well, if you can come up with that, then that sets you up for another loan, because it's showing that you have good faith. You've made a progress or whatever. You don't have to pay it all back. You just have to have it, just like your credit cards. It's the same process, okay? Different form, same process.
We need, you know, when people were screaming about Doge at the federal level, every state needs to have its own personal Doge. Every major city needs to have its own personal Doge, because these people build these NGOs and they won't only just take money from Baltimore, then they'll come down to Prince George's County and take some money. And if they can't get enough money out of the big two, they'll go to another state and apply for some grants and get some money for things. It is ridiculous how loosey-goosey politicians are with our tax dollars. It's crazy.
Well, speaking of the tax dollars, it doesn't stop here. So we mentioned this vehicle that the mayor of Baltimore City is under fire for spending over $163,000 for his vehicle. Actually, I think it was more than that. $165,000 of taxpayer money on some luxury SUV. And folks, it wasn't a Suburban. This Negro got a Jeep Grand Wagoneer. My eyes almost popped out of my head when I saw that. I said, oh, he got a Wagoneer. Okay. So, I mean, everybody else you see is riding around in Suburbans, Expeditions. You know, he got to be in a Wagoneer. Take a look here. This is clip 8.
Mrs. Scott.
But with that, his vehicle is still $55,000 less than before. So again, I want to ask you the same question.
Okay, Tessa, we'll just stop you right there.
we'll just stop it right there. We get it. We understand that your station has this severe right-wing effort underway. We get that. But you also, you guys are dragging this thing out and also not including all the facts. A vehicle that was purchased in 2023 is not the same price as 2025, right? You have to understand that reality. When you look at, I'm talking, you can listen to, let me talk, please. We heard your question. You've asked the same idiotic question now for 3 months. We understand that when you look at a base price for SUVs, base price of SUVs now are, as you know, between $90,000 and $100,000. You're talking about a police vehicle with police equipment on it added on top of that vehicle. It's very simple. And when you look at, these are not astronomical costs, right? You guys in your station in particular would never ask the President of the United States how much the beast costs. You wouldn't do that. You would never do that. This is ridiculous. Let it go. Next question.
For Governor Moore as well, his car costs about $78,000 to $80,000, and he drives across the state. Governor Hogan's car costs $70,000 now. Again, that was bought when he was state.
That's a long time ago. And I also would, well, you looked at, I understand that. I did answer the question. Just because you didn't get the answer that you wanted in your racist slant, that's one thing. But what I will say to you,
no, it's not racist. It's not idiotic. Brother, you got a Wagoneer. Okay. You know, I gotta really, I pray when I have to rent a vehicle, you know, and I ask for an SUV, they give me a Wagoneer. I know what you got. We know, we see you. Public records show Mayor Scott's 2025 Jeep Grand Wagoneer equipped with police lights, sirens, and communication gear costs over $163,000. That's more than any other top Maryland official's vehicle, including I'm not going to say Sambo, Baldy of the East, Wes Moore's $82,000 Suburban. Even ex-Governor Larry Hogan had a $70,000 SUV. Again, Wagoneers are expensive, okay? And so what we heard was the reporter, Tess Bentaluon, I don't know if I'm pronouncing her last name correctly, questioned the expense compared to his peers. And of course, you know, he got all his panties in a bunch. So I asked you, Shelley, do you think that she went too far, or you think that he went too far?
No, she didn't go too far. But I will say this, what do you call it? A shameless plug. He should have had me there, okay? Because Brandon already knows I don't give a damn about him, okay? I don't respect him, but I wish I was there. First of all, now Baltimore has been losing citizens for however long. Anne Arundel County, which is what, 20 minutes away from us, right? Their what do you call it? The county executive, I think their vehicle was only like $60,000, maybe $70,000. So I'm sure his vehicles have some of the same police functions or security things like that. This little bitch right here, he needed the Wagoneer to make himself look big, okay? Because he's only big as my damn finger, a little pipsqueak. I would just love to have been in that room because I would have taken up for Tess. Tess, go ahead, let me take over, okay? Let me take over because he doesn't scare me. He's a little bitch like his big ass bitch down in Minneapolis driving his $70,000 one. Okay, fine. What did they do? What did they do? All he has to ride around to Baltimore. I don't know what, I forget how big it is, square miles. What does he do? He gets up there, look for the camera, his wife who's stealing the damn money. This is unaccountability, and this is unaccountable spending, if you will. And he thinks he doesn't have to give an account because you got too many Baltimoreans and the greater Baltimore committee and all these people propping him up to make him look bigger than what he is. His little ass, I wish I had been there. I wish I had been there again. Like I was before. We got to go to some of these pressers because this just sends my blood boiling, okay? My blood is boiling like you know, like the sticky apple sauce, when it starts boiling, that's what my blood is doing right now. It's like sticky apple sauce. It's boiling on the stove. These people make me angry.
Yeah, Nicole, what are your thoughts on this Wagoneer?
Listen, when he compared himself to the President of the United States in his need for security, to the president of the United States. I kind of tuned him out right then. I was like, bro's tripping. Now, you know, the scuttlebutt is that he intends to run for governor after Wes Moore is finished. And that ought to be a very interesting thing, and to see if Marylanders are ready for, you know, more of the same, right? This dude is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, if his city was as safe as he said it is, if his county was as safe as people say it is, where he likes to hang out, not in the city, but in the county, right? Why would he need a beast? Why would he need presidential level security? Why would he need that? You know, when I think back, I think there are many county executives' vehicles I've been given a ride in, you're just hanging around with my friends and whatnot. And none of them have a fancy car. None of them. Not one of them. Yes, they have police lights and that kind of thing, but nobody's driving around in almost $200,000 worth of vehicle.
No.
Now, in his defense, I will say the roads in Baltimore are tough. He does need something with good suspension. I'm gonna give him that. He could have gotten a Denali. He could have gotten some other kind of SUV. I'm not saying the man should be, you know, riding around you know, in some kind of little beater, but
he could have a Flintstone vehicle.
I mean, you know, we're not a Wagoneer city, okay?
Yeah,
Baltimore City is not a Wagoneer city, okay? He needs to be in somebody's Denali, or you know, definitely not a Wagoneer. All right, I couldn't believe when I saw that.
And how about a hybrid? He needs a hybrid. He's a Democrat. They believe
these are the people that, you know, if you saw the streets, I had to just buy a tire from a pothole literally yesterday. Okay. I had to buy a tire. The streets, look at the snow still when you drive through Baltimore. I mean, the blizzard of what, 79, 78 was cleaned up quicker than this. This is ridiculous. When you have these people in office, the salaries, all the staff, all of the grift and graft that they do, and he comes out with this almost $200,000, $175,000 vehicle, if you will. Granted, he can't take it with him because it's going to be on the city roll, if you will. But nevertheless, I bet his property was cleaned. I bet, you know, Hannah could probably walk from the corner to corner on her block to get to her house without her shoes getting wet. Okay, no snow salt on her shoes. This is what we call, you know, not just unaccountability. I call it fraud. Again, they don't give a damn. It's all about making themselves look like the big people and the status that they think they are. And somebody put they would have to bail me out. You don't have to bail me out because Brandon knows me. When I stand up there, I don't pay Brandon no mind. He knows he can say what he wants and it doesn't faze me. See, he can't use that. He probably will try to use that little racist trope, but I am a black woman on camera and in person, dreadlocks, whatever and all. And I don't give a damn about Brandon. He knows me. And we've had face-to-face discussion and we can have one again. We got to go to some of these damn pressers because I'm telling you, I got to take a drink tonight because my blood is really just on fire right now.
This is the abuse part of fraud, waste, and abuse, right? This is an abuse of his power. This is an abuse of taxpayer funds. This is the part that absolutely makes people's blood boil because there's really no recourse. He's already got it. They can ask every question. They can try to embarrass him. And this is what he's telling her. You can ask what you want to ask. It's my vehicle and I'm going to have it. So this is the part that makes people furious. Because where could $170,000 in Baltimore be better spent? Dare I say, filling in what you call a pothole, but I call a pond, you have to drive 2 lanes over to get around some of the holes in this city. It is.
I fell in a pothole. I didn't say anything to you. I fell in a pothole about 2 weeks ago and split my pants. This is ridiculous. Okay, these potholes are causing all kinds of situations, all right? And I mean all kinds. I won't even go into details of what I had to go through. But this is ridiculous. It really is. And not just the potholes, not just our taxpayer funds. Like you mentioned, Nicole, education. Our education system is shot. They claim they're putting money into it. And it's going, I don't know where it's going because most of the children in Baltimore City cannot read. And what do? They take these children and instead of teaching them math, reading, writing, They teach them about protest. Now, this next video is not in Baltimore, but they do this in Democrat enclaves all over the country. This is clip 10. Take a look.
Now that I am no longer
What was that? What was that? Those kids didn't look like they were in anything older than third grade.
I thought they were younger.
It probably
They look
was.
like first graders, maybe kindergartners. You know, this is indoctrination.
Yeah.
This is what it looks like when people say, "Oh no, they don't have indoctrination." This is what indoctrination is. These kids don't know enough about American politics to say yes or no to anybody. They're saying what they were told to say. They're marching the way they were told to march. And this is why our children have such a hard time. Such a hard time.
Yep. They can't even pee straight. Okay. Again, they can't even count from 100 backwards. They can't. And that these teachers or whomever are teaching these children this. And they teach them these catchy phrases because when you're a child, you do learn through song. That's how you can get your memorization, all that, fine. But they don't know what they're saying. So it's not the children's fault. Again, and not only that, why are they publishing these children's faces all online without being blurred out? I'm guessing that the parents gave them permission. I'm guessing, but nevertheless, this is what it's come to: adults pimping out children for their own causes. Okay, it's ridiculous.
And here in this next clip, a former teacher talks about how these teachers and administrators are failing these children. This is clip 11.
Now that I am no longer a teacher, thank God, I can finally say the things that have been on my mind all school year. Okay, as somebody that taught high school and basically educating our new young adults, we should all be scared. Every last one of us should be scared. These kids cannot read, they cannot write, there is no type of comprehension skills, no type of critical thinking. They cannot do anything on their own. They expect everything to be taught to them. Well, I won't even say taught. They expect everything to be given to them. So in my class, we did this thing where I made them write once a week. So they would have some type of assignment where they would have to write at least a paragraph, meaning 5 sentences. 5 sentences. The amount of assignments that I got in with 1 sentence, 2 sentences, the amount of complaints I got with the whole 5 sentences, that's too much, can we do 3, isn't 3 considered a paragraph? Oh baby, we are in for a wild ride, y'all. Every assignment that I gave them, I kid y'all not, every assignment that I gave them, there was several students that came to my desk and asked me to walk them through the entire assignment, the whole thing. But genuinely, the truth of the matter is everybody is failing these kids. Everybody. The school board with all these different rules, they're failing these kids. The principals or admin altogether, they're failing these kids, and they're failing the teachers because they're basically telling us that we had to just pass a child along just to keep these graduation numbers up. So,
wow. So you heard what she said. The kids can't read, they can't write, they don't have critical thinking. So if they're told to hate Donald Trump, they're the perfect stooges. This is why. These people, folks, we got to stop asking why and start realizing they're doing this on purpose. This is intentional. They don't want these children to be critical thinkers because these are the next Antifa agitators.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Nicole, what are your thoughts?
People who can't think are easy to control. Right. And we're seeing that now. We're seeing grown women women with children, and some of them with wives and husbands, leave the comfort of the insecurity of their homes to come out to protest about the people who are raping and savaging them. It makes no sense. Like, when you think about it in a logical way, it makes no sense. But they don't have what I like to call sense beyond 60 characters. You can give them 60 characters, a talking point. You can give them a quick Snapchat or a small TikTok, not a big TikTok, but a small TikTok video. And it triggers something in their mind. It says, this must be absolute truth. I have to activate. I don't know when America stopped being a thinking society, but I assume it happened somewhere around the early 90s when America stopped thinking and became like a microwave society. Everything has to happen lickety split real quick. It makes me crazy because I see kids in the bookstore, and guess what they're doing in the bookstore? They're playing on their cell phones in a damn bookstore. It makes no sense. Why are you in the bookstore? Do you know why they're in the bookstore? Because there might be a Pokemon card or something that they're looking for in the bookstore. Parents don't teach their children to read. They don't teach them to comprehend. And I'm not going to regale you with the story that happened to me at Baltimore City. This girl, my bill was $7.46. I gave her a 10. She gave me $13 back. And I looked at her and I said, you know, that's not right. And she was like, I'm not giving you no more money. Okay, I'm gonna just take all of this money you gave me. It works. I said, but your drawer gonna be short. You're gonna be real short on. I know what I'm doing. I hate when y'all people come around here. Oh, okay, so I'm y'all people. I'm taking all your money. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Got in my car and drove away. And then I felt bad about that, y'all. I did, because she can't help. She's dumb. She really can't. I should have just left the money to the side, and eventually whoever counts her drawer would have been like, girl, what did you do?
No, she has to be fired. That's a learning lesson.
Lord,
fire her, let the drawer come up short, then she'll realize, oh, I gave her more change than I was supposed to.
Just like, if I give you a 10, how you give me $13 change?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, like, duh.
Look, that woman,
and it's the attitude that gets me.
Right. And then she was mad at me for telling her that she made a mistake. That's the part that kills me. It's not the error in making the mistake, because everybody makes mistakes. It's your unwillingness to self-correct that's the issue. And that's the kind of issue that plagues you into adulthood. This is the thing that follows you at work. When your boss tells you to get something done and you like, well, I don't feel like doing that today. I'm gonna just do what I want to do. And you get fired and people ask you what happened. Oh, he don't like Black people. He don't like women. He don't like people with dreadlocks. He don't like people with straight hair. No, you didn't do your damn job, and that's why you got fired. But you've never been accountable for anything. So you always fall back, like we were saying before, in all of these things that quote unquote make you Democrat special. That checklist of things that keeps you from being accountable. So yeah, this is she's not lying. We're in for a rough road.
I was gonna say, she is not lying. She's not lying at all. Young people, even at the college level, you know, they don't have the basic skills that even when they start college, they don't have the basic skills. They don't even have organizational skills. Some of them, half of them maybe don't have the books. They don't have the notebooks, the pencils. I mean, the basic things. Okay. And then when I was teaching college, I've had parents, okay, call and or email me wanting to know why, you know, little Susie and little JoJo didn't get an A or B because they thought, and I've told the parents, I'm sorry, I'm not talking to you, okay? I'll talk to your student who's an adult. Your student needs to come to learn how to talk to me as an instructor or whatever. I've had my boss at the college try to get me to change a person's grade. Well, no, first of all, I don't even know who the person is. They never came to class. So I wouldn't even know who I'm giving a grade to, even if I wanted to change the, whatever. But she's not lying. This comes from part of it. Part of it is coddling students, coddling them. You know, parents feel like they gotta run interference for everything. And that, you know, when Johnny or Susie, even if they might be doing well, but they might get a lower grade than usual. Oh, well, I gotta go talk. No, maybe it's just called the learning process. Okay, it's part of the learning. Everybody's not going to get an A all the time. There has to be some play between learning and mastery. Okay, right. But you know, it's just ridiculous. She's not lying. You're right. She is not lying.
Yeah. And then last thing on this, I mean, like you both mentioned, these people, it's one thing to be young. It's another to be dumb. And then they're indignant about it. They're indignant. And then I'm sorry, I got to say it. Most of these people that are doing this stuff are butt ugly. So you really got all the strikes against you. You're dumb, you're indignant, and you're ugly.
And look, Nicole, and don't give them the bill with the change along with it.
No, I learned that the hard way.
Oh my gosh.
I learned that the hard way.
Speaking of change, we got to thank these super chatters.
Yeah, let's thank the super chat. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Bernie, hi Bernie. Thank you for being a member of our Freedom Club and for your $10 super chat. Bernie says he's been curious about this. Since you ladies are in Maryland, have you ever been on the Chesapeake Bay Bridge? I heard it's a terrifying experience. It just depends. I mean, we've been on it. We've probably all been on it. Kung Fu CJ for the $2 super chat. No, Shelly, we will have to bail you out. LOL. All right, well, just send over the super chats and we'll put it in a little pot. Justin Green, thank you for your $2 super chat. He used to get beat up at Mervo. I heard that too.
No, he's talking about Brandon Scott.
Yes, I heard that too. Kung Fu CJ and $2 super chat. He is laughing or he's saying wow, all the different faces there.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's putting Brandon Scott's business all out there.
You're right, Justin.
All right, folks. Well, we will be back. We will be back on Friday night at 9 p.m. So remember, Wednesdays are the only night we're on at 8 p.m. Every other night it's 9 p.m. So come, please check us out on Friday at 9 p.m., bringing you the latest in news and hot topics from a conservative perspective. All right. And I see producers are pushing Just the Guys. So I want to remind you guys, you got to check out Just the Guys on Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. Just the Guys podcast. That's the all-male review, bringing you the news and hot topics and they talk about how communism, Marxism has infiltrated in all these areas. Just the Guys podcast, Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. All right. And then tomorrow night, you can catch me on Christian Conservative every Thursday at 9 p.m. We have a crazy show for you all tomorrow. Lots have happened in the court system recently that Christians actually can be happy about. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Me and Michelle, you can catch us on at KJ Christian Conservative at 9 p.m. All right. So that does it. Also, while we're not on here, you can check out Discord. You can connect with us on the Discord chat. So we can chat there and connect. And then also our YouTube community page. All right, folks. So thank you all so much for watching tonight. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.